For how long? Have we ever had a drought this bad?
We have.
On record?
We have.
We
yeah.
have.
You
Go ahead,
can't remember the latest?
No, but the last one we had that was this severe was in 2010. However, this year we have some areas experiencing up to 90% deficit, which will exceed the 2010 records.
Okay, so it has been anomalous.
It has been.
Okay.
It has been.
So are we still in drought period, or are we safely out of that?
We are actually out of drought for the island in its entirety for the time being. And I have to say, for the time being, we have been getting some rainfall, and so the amounts are now taking us above the threshold. So we're no longer considering drought conditions for the island. But in many areas, though, it is still below normal in most parishes. In fact, in 9 out of our 13 parish areas, we combine Kingston and St. Andrew. So we have 13 parish areas, and 9 of these are experiencing below normal rainfall, or below the average for the 30-year period.
Can we break down a little bit when we say drought? Because we understand there are 3 types of drought. So let's go through the definitions, and then we can talk a little bit more about how applicable each was to what we went through. What are the 3 types?
Well, basically you have the meteorological drought, which is rainfall deficit over a 2-month period. And then you have the agricultural drought, which is looking at a 3-month period, but not having adequate enough moisture in the soil to sustain or maintain plant growth. And then you have the hydrological drought, which is a severe deficit in the rivers over a 6-month period.
And in the storage.
All of those, okay.
Yes, for the most part. Where hydrological is concerned, I think it was still below normal, but it wasn't considered drought conditions for hydrological, because this underground storage of water in our reservoirs was adequate to meet need. But in terms of the amount of rainfall we were receiving, it was much less than is normal. The amount of soil moisture that was there to support the crops was less than normal. So we had drought in at least agricultural and meteorological respects.
Okay, so what we want people to know is that yes, we're doing a little better now. There's a big but behind it, Evan.
That's right.
Because we are going, you say, into the dry period again.
That's right.
So tell us what it is that you want us to know, because we all have some kind of role or responsibility to play in how to navigate through this dry period again.
Well, first of all, we should point out that this is where we are now positioned in the year is our primary rainy season. October is really our rainiest month, traditionally.
Yes.
And so what we've been seeing over the past few weeks, we have been getting some rainfall because, you know, the changing climate patterns at this time of the year would normally support increased rainfall. But the rainfall amounts are still not getting up to the normal.
How far below are we?
Well, at the end of September, we were seeing almost all our parishes experiencing less than normal rainfall.
Almost all?
All, yes. Actually, all our parishes were experiencing less than normal. It might not have been significantly less. Some are like 90% of the norm, but it goes as low as maybe in the 30s, 30% of the norm.
I'm just out of curiosity, which parish is experiencing
the most severe hit parishes right now are Clarendon, St. Catherine, Portland, and Southern.
Portland?
Yes.
No way.
Portland is normally we get quite a bit of rainfall at this time of year. There, in some cases, as early as July, Portland was receiving at least 90% deficit. So we were getting significantly less rainfall.
Okay, gotcha. All right, Evan, go on now.
Yes, and we, considering that in another month or so we will now be moving into our primary dry season, which starts in December and goes all the way through to, say, March, April. There is a concern, and of course that's what our Minister of Waterland, Environment and Climate Change spoke about in Parliament, that we are moving toward a dry season with a deficit. And so it is worth noting and being concerned about, because if we don't get the rainfall that we're expecting, and particularly because our prediction of rainfall for the next few months is suggesting that the rainfall will continue to be below normal for another few months. So if it's below the normal in a dry season, we could be in for some problems next year.
So what do we need to know as citizens of Jamaica? There are lots of implications for us with those findings or with that kind of forecast. So what do we do?
Well, we have created a website as one of the things to empower and educate the public, JamaicaClimate.net, which publish a lot of this information online. Where for the agricultural sector, we have also geared a lot of programs that are geared towards the farmers. So, but going forward, we have to empower our farmers because drought
is this year.
It's a very sensitive index for farmers.
So in layman's terms, though, are we saying people going to put in more tanks? Are we saying to the farmers start putting in some redundancies? For what are we saying in layman's terms for different sectors of society who will be affected?
Preparation is key, and so the water harvesting, rainfall harvesting is something that has been pushed over the past few months, and we have to continue to move in that direction. If we can save the rainfall that we are getting, then we will be in better stead when we get to those dry periods. We sometimes put the tanks on our homes, but we feed this by the same public water supply from National Water Commission or so. And so if those storages are low and if we have the water lock-offs and that kind of thing, we're still in the same problem. But if we had rainfall that was collected, then we would be able to sustain crops and gardens and even other activities in our homes.
So water harvesting important.
That is important.
Are you guys going to embark on a public campaign about this? Because a lot of people don't know what's happening when we say water harvesting. Okay, catch the rainwater, because it can be used to flush your toilets or water your plants. Or is there more information that you're going to be giving out as time goes by?
Of course, as Lenroy mentioned, we have the websites that are pushing forward the information. Of course, sessions like these also allow persons to become more informed and aware. But we also work in collaboration with other agencies. We have the Water Resources Authority, we have the National Water Commission, we have a number of agencies that work together on a drought committee. And that committee will also have as part of its mandate or a part of their activities plan to ensure that the communication, the education continues right across Jamaica. And of course that the plans of the Ministry of Water, Land, Environment and Climate Change are continued so that we ensure that we don't really run out of water, then we become the land of wood. We don't want to get to that point.
I don't know why I was even laughing at that joke, because running out of water is not, I mean, I can't say that. Thank you very much, gentlemen. JamaicaClimate.net is a site for the folks who don't have access to the internet. Then the gentleman said the information will be coming at you through different sources. So please listen out for that, because again, we're heading into a dry season. So don't rest on your laurels that we're out of drought conditions and it's all peace and safety, as we would say, because we're going to need to start conserving again. Thank you, gentlemen, for sharing the information with us. From the Met Office, head of the weather branch, Emma Thompson, and meteorologist for the climate change show program.